Hey guys, welcome back to WTF Air Gun Gripes. Most of you have seen my first video on the problems with the Sauer MPX MCX, and I put together a slideshow. Been working on it for a few months now. I've gone through 3 of them and kind of boiled it down to what I think are some of the major problems and some of the flaws of this gun. I still do not know if they've made a better one that shoots more. I think they've got a problem with their gun. If anything, they should make a kit or repair kit or parts or something, but they don't. So we did. We manufactured some new pieces for it and got it to work better. And so what I want to show you on my slideshow, it's not too long, but it'll show you, and I'll point out, it's kind of reiterating what I did on my first video, but it'll explain things a little bit and where I stand with the products on this, and maybe the features and creatures of this beast. So watch the slideshow. I'll try to splice this together as best I can. I'm working with about $100 camera here, and I'm not very good at it, so that's me, though, a little unprofessional. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys. It's amazing how many comments and how many viewers I've had. And hope to make one or two more in the future. So stay tuned. I'll tag this together and see if this helps you any understand what the problems are with SIG. Maybe somebody's got it fixed. I don't know. Hang on. I'll get you going here in a second. Hey guys, okay, I got this set up in kind of a simple form here, so I can just walk you through. This was my first one that I got. I love the MPX. They're pretty fun, pretty cute. Like you, I went out and bought all the accessories, extra this, extra that, clips, belts, good optics, a bunch of 90 grain cylinders, CO2, and it broke right off the bat. I didn't have 300 rounds through it. I'm recapping this to my first video if anybody wants to go back and look at it. But I'm recapping it. It made it about 300, a little over 300 rounds, and it tanked. And so I didn't know what was wrong. I could not figure it out. I didn't take the gun apart. So I sent it back to SIG. They warranted it, and just after they got it, they sent me back a note. And the note said, cannot be repaired. We're going to send you a new rifle. Sorry for the problem, but we're going to give you an upgrade. So I thought that wasn't too bad. So they sent me an MCX, which is a little bigger, a little more expensive gun. So I thought, okay. So this is the one I had, the replacement of the MPX, and now I have an MCX. So I did the same thing again, you know. I put different optics on it because it was a different kind of gun, longer barrel. Thought it'd be more accurate, which they actually are fairly accurate. Started the whole thing over again and shot it and got around 800 rounds, and it broke. And I thought, what the hell? So I took it apart, took the side off of it, and the firing pin fell out of it. And I guess this is a fairly common problem. At the time that I did all this, I haven't seen any upgrades in the MPX, MCX for this problem. There's thousands of them out there. I've seen some of you guys have said you haven't had any problems with your gun. They're still shooting. The box says right on the side of the box or in the manual, I'm not sure, it says minimum of 15,000 shots before, you know, needing anything. 15,000. Okay, I am a long ways from 15,000 rounds. I've got around 800. So I took it apart carefully to see what was going on, and the firing pin was laying in the bottom. It fell out right in the bottom of the chassis down there. And I'll show you some pictures here. There's the diagram of the thing, and there's your spring. There's your bolt right there. It's kind of, if you can read this thing, there's your bolt, and I'll show you where the problem is. Okay, here's the same schematic. Now this is a cutaway. This is the bolt here, this outside thing. And inside the bolt is a hardened steel pin. It's not pinned in, it's not screwed in, it's not anything. It's not welded in. It's pressed in. There's no super glue. There's no anything. And what it does, after this bolt goes back and forth, and when it comes forward, this is in the forward position now, and this is the firing pin, and here's the hammer, and here's the firing pin right here. Let's call this the hammer. This is the firing pin, which actually releases the air into the air chamber. This taps this, just boop, like that, and it lets some air go. That's how it works. Goes back against the spring, slams forward, hits the firing pin, lets air into the chamber. This keeps falling out. There's nothing in there to hold it. It is pressed in. And I tried, and I thought I had it fixed. I've actually followed the advice of a few other guys that said they fixed it and just used some Loctite. And it failed twice, actually. And so I'm not sure Loctite is the answer to fix that problem. It works for a while, but then it does fall out. So that's the problem. Engineering. That's a factory screw-up. Thank you very much, Mr. Sig. Anyway, and this was the other issue, is recapping some of the stuff that you guys you've been really helpful to my research on this, but these are the key points of failure. Guys have been breaking this, and that's because you're over-tightening your CO2 cartridge. You just reef them on. You don't want to reef them on. You want to just turn them on and snug them. If you over-tighten them, it cracks this. This is all pot metal, Japanese aluminum, and it's poor quality. The second thing that's been failing is in here and down here and underneath here, there's rubber O-rings, small rubber O-rings. They've been failing. I've watched the comments, and a lot of failures with the O-rings. Now, you can buy these O-rings online, and they're metric O-rings, and you can just take them out and measure them with millimeters. You get your mic out. I'm not going to give you part numbers or anything like that because your gun could possibly be even different than mine. But you can get these. They are metric, and you can get them online. People who carry metric O-rings. And then there's the bolt I was telling you about right there. That's the bolt that slides back. And this is all spring in here. And inside here, right about there, is the firing, the hammer. And then inside the air chamber, which is, you can see just the end of the air chamber, it fits inside this. There's the top of it right in there. It hits the hammer, hits the firing pin, lets the air out right there. Well, that's where the bolt falls out. The bolt, when it's back, the firing hammer will fall out and actually fall right down in here. And I found mine down here in the trigger. And it's pretty simple, but they don't have it secured by anything. It's just pushed in and it falls out. And that's a big problem. That's an engineering problem. And really, really a shame that they did. Okay, what do we got? Okay, here's the bolt again. In the back position, I took the spring out. You can see where the hollow part is. The pin sits right back in here. And the air chamber slides in this. That's why it's relieved on top. This slides over it. You can see where the air comes down here. There's a rubber O-ring. That's the ones I was telling you about. There's one here and back up here. Actually, there's two of them. There's one on either side. And you can, like I said, you can take those out and get them replaced. They're not a big deal, but they are metric, and you have to get them online. I haven't found anything locally. Anyway, that's how that lays in there. All right, let's see. Sorry about the rudimentary here. Bolt again. Firing pin or the hammer is inside. This is the assembly that goes in the air chamber. This is your high pressure seal right here, and this is a steel sleeve. Now, what's interesting on mine, after the second time I fixed the bolt again, the hammer fell out. Well, then I experienced another issue after I got it back from SIG. They supposedly fixed it. I sent it back to them, and they said, well, only thing we found wrong with it was the air seals were leaking. And they replaced them, they test fired it, and sent it back to me. And that was just a few months ago. And what I found out, I shot it a few times, well, after I got it back, maybe 100 times, 150 times at that, and it broke again. And what happened was the firing pin stayed in this time, but this sleeve came out. And that leaves the seal loose. and it also blocks how the air escapes. And some of you made comments about your gun not recoiling. If you pulled the hammer back, it would shoot manually if you pulled it back and pulled the trigger, but it would not recoil and reset itself. Well, this is probably what happened to your gun, is this sleeve has moved and it's blocking the chamber, which allows the air to go back and feed back through here, which blows this thing back. It's just a blowback, straight blowback, nothing else. This sleeve I found on mine is just pressed in. There's nothing holding it either. It's just a press fit. And it's got a a rolled edge that holds this seal down. So when that comes loose, your seal and everything is completely loose and blocks the air. Now that's a problem too. That's an engineering problem. Right from the factory go. Now I don't know if anybody else has had this problem. So we've been working on this. I have 3 of these things now that I've used, and I have one prototype that I've been working on since the beginning, trying to figure out, can we fix it? Can we make it better? I'm not sure if we can. Okay, here's a kind of down the throat look at the bolt. There's the firing pin I'm telling you about. See how this is all cut out? That air cylinder fits right in here, and this slides back and forth. This is the top. Actually, I've got it turned upside down like that. But there's the pin. That just falls out. I don't have too many good pictures of this thing, but all right, here is the high pressure part assembly of the firing pin. This is, I guess, I don't know if that's what it's called. I call it the firing pin. There's your sealing edge right there. There's your valve edge and your seal, just like a valve on a car or anything else. And the pressure, this spring goes right against this, up tight against there. And that O-ring there needs to be replaced, and that O-ring there needs to be replaced. They leak commonly as well. And those are, again, metric, and you could just measure them and order them if that's all that's wrong with your gun. If you do experience that, you don't have to send it back to the company and have it done. The firing, the hammer, it comes down here, and that little hammer, that black pin, slides right inside here like, I'm going to do it like this, boop, and it taps it right here, boom, inside, boom. Moves this thing here a fraction of an inch, allows the air to go in. This is hollow. The air goes in here, blows the bolt back, and the rest of the air goes out this way and fires the pellet. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. But it's a fail point. All of this is a failure point because nothing's holding it together. It keeps coming apart. There again, if you're experiencing a non-return on your bolt, it's not recocking itself, and you have to manually operate it, then this thing has probably come loose or is loose, and it's wobbling around in there, and it's restricting the air that causes the bolt to go back and recycle. Now, we've done some work on the prototype that I have. We've left all the stock creature features, the spring, the firing pin. What we've done is we've changed the seal and the type of sleeve that goes in here and how we've mounted it. We've made it so the sleeve doesn't come out and the seal doesn't move, and we've come up with a cure for the hammer. And the idea is try to build a kit, a replacement repair kit for these to sell, but it's not cost effective because, number one, the guns are so poorly made inside, and who knows what else. Like I said, I've got the most rounds I've shot out of any one of these guns is 850 rounds approximately, and some only 200 or 300 rounds. So I managed to get a prototype that works, and it works very well, but it's cost prohibitive, unfortunately, to make all these parts up out of good aluminum or better seals or whatever. It's still really costly, and the guns, they're not worth it. I've given my ideas to SIG about making a better product. I have heard nothing back from SIG. Nothing. So here's my last, I've got to come up a couple more things. Okay, here's the whole assembly, if this makes sense to you. There's your bolt, pin, firing hammer inside. There's your seal. right there, and you can see where the edge of it seals, and like a little valve. And you can see how the spring goes on there, and the washer and pressure, and this all compresses inside of here. And that hammer, that's what I said, this moves the whole thing. Air comes down here, goes inside, goes through this, comes out the center, it's hollow, and blows it right out through here. This is what holds against the pellet. It's got a set of arms that come down and grab it, and that goes straight out, and that's the retainer. Very simple. If it was made with quality, this gun would be so cool. So cool. So that's as far as I got. I got a working model. I am not going to do any more with it. It's just not worth it to me. Okay, and let's see. And here I'll show you my prototype. I was debating whether to show or not. This is my last prototype that I did of my latest MCX that I've done the machine work inside. I've got it to work. This is I just zip tied it actually on the barrel. It actually fit on the barrel really cool. I had it remote at first, and then I said that's no fun. So I put the barrel on, or put this onto the barrel with zip ties, and then you can see it's got a regulator on it. This is 4,500 pounds with a 1,500 pound out to the gun pressure. Very compact, works like a dream. Feet per second compared to CO2, it matches it. CO2 at 85, 90 degrees was pushing it out at, I think, 456, a 7.8 grain pellet. This one consistently was pushing it out at 400 feet per second, so I've matched it. But CO2, is a gas, and it takes more air to match it. But I think a CO2 cartridge is around 900 psi, and this, so just tell you, I'm not quite a third more, I think. 900 to 1,500, yeah, almost a third, plus or minus. But that's a working model, but it's not gonna be for sale. You guys can build it. I think that's it. That brings you up to speed. I will finish this up with just my commentary, or maybe not. I might just might end it right here. Who knows? Hang on. I'll do another one. Well, welcome back to the whatever program I'm producing right now. I have no idea. I think I started out with WTF airgun gripes. I'll just leave it at that for this review on the SIG MPX MCX. I hope that slideshow wasn't too draggy. I hope to point out a couple of things, issues with the firearms I've been having problems with, and the issues, and hopefully pointed them out to where, if you are having these issues, where to look, where to go. The rubber seals are an issue. You can buy those online, as I said. Mic them yourself. They are metric O-rings. You can buy them. I'd give you part numbers, but chances are my part numbers would not be the same as yours. So just take them out, mic them, and you can get them at, I think McMaster and Carr sells them, and there's a few others online that sell them. But I tried to point out what I found wrong with my 3 guns, and all 3 of them had the same issue. Like I said, I bought a new one. It broke right away with minimal shots. They replaced it because it was broken inside, and I'm reiterating here a little bit, but it broke inside. They said it couldn't be repaired. Couldn't be repaired, so they sent me a new MCX, and it broke too. I just can't believe that they just keep doing this and keep doing this. And then when I did send the MCX back to them the second time, I had the thing apart, and I told them I took it apart, and I pointed out what broke, why it broke. And they sent it back to me right away, and I said fix or repair. Or replace. They sent it back to me right away, which was fine, but it shot about 100 shots and failed again. That's when I kind of shut the door. And I found a number of things. They put the wrong rubber O-rings in. They were the wrong size. There was a part missing and a stripped screw. And the screw was in it, but it wouldn't tighten anything down. So I was pretty disappointed with that, and I shot off an email to the person I've been talking to, and I got no response. Zero. Nothing. I think the thing that I want to walk away with, I don't know if any, I mean, I would really, really be willing to bet that a lot of you guys have had the same damn problem I've had. But as far as the service center, air gun, Sig Sauer, they suck. No response on any of the letters, no feedback on any of the letters. I sent them pictures. I explained things to them, how it could be fixed. I explained to them, I asked them, basically, nicely, mind you, nicely, why haven't they fixed it? I've seen some people make comments, you know, that, oh, I haven't had any trouble with my gun at all. If you haven't, you're very fortunate. I haven't got over 1,000 rounds on any of these guns, as far, you know, in standard stock form. I just can't seem to get there. 300, 150, 850, and in the manual, I did find it in here in the manual. 15,000 rounds before you need to do anything to these things, servicing or whatever. 15,000. Think about that. I'm making it to 800. So my point is on some of this, I guess, is, you know, a lot of people have bought a lot of these pellet rifles and put a lot of money out for accessories. And they bought SIG accessories, which I will never buy another SIG product, just because of the problems I've had with them, and the way they deal with this product is just totally wrong, and it's upsetting. I've spent hundreds of dollars on accessories and extras for this gun, not to mention this CO2, and it's worthless, completely worthless. Build a better gun. Build a better gun. Fix the problems that exist from 2016? I've gone back on the videos which got me started on this, and they go back to almost the first out of the box. So there's something wrong with SIG for just ignoring everyone, but they're taking our money. And so everything that I've done, I figured out how to fix it. It's not cheap. I wanted to make a kit. We devised all the parts and pieces, but it's too spendy for what the gun is. And we don't know, since we haven't got any more than 800 or 1,000 shots out of this thing now, what else is going to break or fail. So we've just kind of drew the line as that this is not a good investment. As far as the service center goes and the warranty goes, yeah, they'll warranty it. The gal that I dealt with, she said, well, we'll warranty it because you bought it from us, or actually they gave it this was my replacement from SIG that failed. And it was new. It was not rebuilt or refurbished or pre-owned. It was a brand new one. And because I took it apart after it failing and pointed it out to him, she said, well, we'll fix it this time, and that's it. So I was pretty disappointed all the way around with how they reacted, and no comments, no return anything, 5 letters maybe. And so I'm kind of done with it. So if any of you guys, I think the way I look at it this way, SIG owes everybody that's bought one of these old piles of plastic and pot aluminum and it's failed. I think SIG owes everybody a big apology and a better SIG. And if they come out with a better SIG, they should find out who bought these things and send them one for free, because this is junk the way you're selling it, as far as I'm concerned. Another interesting thing I found too, when I called the first MPX that I bought online, reputable dealer sold several different kinds of pellet rifles. It was kind of funny in a way. I emailed him back and I said, hey, my gun broke. Oh, well, we don't want to hear it. You'll have to talk to SIG about it. And so I asked when I talked to SIG about getting parts or anything, they said, no parts. We don't sell any parts. You're not authorized to have them. Only our superior service shop can repair your gun. So I went back to the people I bought my first gun from, and I said, is there any chance you would sell me one of these wholesale, or maybe a little bit more than wholesale, I could buy it for a parts gun, so I'd have some replacement parts. They wouldn't even respond to me. He said, nope. In fact, the gal that sent it back to me, she said, we don't carry those anymore. I was about wet myself on that one. But anyway, not a good investment at this time, guys. It can be fixed and repaired. My prototype was really successful, but it cost too much. Like I said, I made some bloopers on there. I think I said 400 feet per second on CO2 or air, but it was actually closer to the actual CO2. I think it was 456, and I got 450 with air, but that was 1,500 pounds. But it worked, and I got several hundred rounds out of it. I didn't push it any further than that. We wanted to make sure it worked, and then I just kind of gave up. But thanks to all you guys. I had a lot, just huge response on some of this stuff. I can't believe how many people are in this game with SIG, with this MPX thing. It's amazing, and the comments have been really interesting, and I appreciate the subscribers. I was in shock. I'm not even looking to subscribe, or I don't sell my own products, but I'm thinking about it very seriously. And in closing, in that, I am going to build a product. I don't know how many of you guys are, airgun shooters, PCP, MCX Gauntlet. I've got a product coming out here in about a month, and it's going to be a barrel band for accurizing your MCX Gauntlet 1 and Gauntlet 2. And it's kind of a clever idea. It will help the alignment of the barrel somewhat, and it'll also strengthen the barrel somewhat. It's kind of clever how it's made. It's pretty cheap, and I'll have it probably on eBay or Amazon here about a month or so. Keep your eyes peeled. I will do probably a promo for it as soon as I get my product, which I didn't even deliver to my door yet. But anyway, thanks again to all you guys. Deeply appreciated. And like I said, SIG, you owe a big apology to a lot of people, and you should give their money back. All right, stay tuned for the next one, guys. Keep your powder dry.